Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, Functional Medicine Centers. Let's jump into it. We're going to talk about diabetes. We're going to talk about blood sugar. We're going to talk about what you can do about it right now. There's a very good chance that many of you that are watching either have diabetes or pre-diabetes. How do I know that? Well, when you look at the statistics, in 2015, we had 34 million people were pre-diabetic. A lot of those people are already diabetic now. 6 years later, a lot of them have converted into diabetes. A few years ago as well, there was 30.3 million Americans that were already diabetic. And guess what? A quarter of those did not even know they were diabetic. So this was unknown, and we see this with patients all the time. I was just looking at a blood work for a patient in Phoenix, and her A1C was over 8. You don't want it over 5.9. Hers was over 8. I asked the doc in Phoenix, I said, does she know that she's diabetic? And she said no. It was amazing that someone could be that high on their glucose and not realize it. But a quarter of the people out there don't even realize that they're diabetic. We're talking type 2 diabetes here. There is a difference with type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is going to be the autoimmune, usually with children. Type 2 is going to be more lifestyle dependent there. So if you guys are jumping on, go ahead and pop down where you're watching down below, and then put any questions down also. So great to see you guys. The 2012, so almost 10 years ago, we were spending $245 billion per year on treating diabetes. This is amazing. You know, this number now, I haven't seen official stats since then, but I'm gonna guess we're up over $400 million with just the number of people. By 2025, the United States is going to have 50% of the population obese, not just overweight, but obese. You know, it's amazing what statistics are showing. Diabetes is the 7th leading cause of death. Amazing that that is so prevalent when this is almost 100% preventable and reversible. Each person that has diabetes spends on average $13,600 per year in medical expenses, 2.3 times as many dollars spent as the regular person that doesn't have diabetes. So these numbers are astounding. By the next 5 years, we're going to be spending $500 billion on diabetes. And it's amazing just the number of people that are out there. And the great news is that if your blood sugar is out of balance, you can change this, you can reverse this, you can get this balanced out very, very quickly. I always say we can help people reverse their diabetes naturally in as little as 6 to 8 weeks. We see this all the time. We see people go from the 6s, 7s, 8s, all the way down into the 5s. Very quickly. It happens so quickly. So I had a patient, he was averaging well over 300 on his glucose. He's now hitting 120, 125 in the morning. Amazing how low that can go and how quickly. So here's the 4 steps that I want you to start thinking about that are going to get your blood sugar stabilized and reverse this diabetes naturally. Number 1, use a glucose monitor. Don't just test first thing in the morning. Don't just test before you go to bed, but you need to test multiple times throughout the day. We've used a little finger prick glucose monitor for years with patients, and you're going to test that after a meal. And a lot of people, you want to test even 30 to 60 minutes after a meal. A lot of people say test 2 hours, but here's what we found over the years is that you've got to test sooner because a lot of people it's going to be going up and already coming down. This is one of the big reasons that we test our blood work with patients non-fasting. We want to see what's happening throughout the day. So we test patients all throughout the day. If you have a continuous glucose monitor, one of the ones that can go onto the arm, it's huge. That's going to be a great part of just following this pathway and knowing why it goes up and why it goes down. So the glucose monitor is the number 1 tool that you need to get if you really want to stabilize your blood sugar and reverse your diabetes. Number 2, you want to remove these foods. So whether they make your blood sugar go up or not or anything, just take them out in general. That's going to be all refined sugars. So any sodas, any sugar in coffees, anything in any of your your sweets, anything at all that is a refined sugar, take it out now. A lot of people, go ahead and pop down below if you've taken sugar out of your diet. Tell people your experience, because it is huge. So many people have done it, and it is life changing. So take the sugar out, remove grains. The second thing you want to do is remove grains out of your diet. And we're talking even gluten-free grains, potatoes, rice, quinoa. We see all of these spike up that blood sugar. Even beans, we'll see people hit 140s, 150s, 160s. So take grains out of the diet. And then alcohol. A lot of people don't like to hear this, especially with COVID. A lot more people were drinking than they were before. And taking alcohol out. Alcohol has a horrible effect on the blood sugar, has a horrible effect on the liver. So you've only got to remove it as much as you possibly can. If you have a glass of wine on the weekend, not a big deal. But if you're having 2-3 drinks a night, like a lot of people got into that habit over COVID, take it out, get it out. That's going to be huge. Third thing, what can we add in is going to be increase your fiber. Fiber is huge at slowing that glycemic response. So blood sugar is going to go up, but if you're eating a bunch of fiber with that meal, it's not going to go up as quickly. Not grains. A lot of people think about grains as their fiber, but don't do that. You want to go, you can do like chia seeds, you can do psyllium husks, you can do a bunch of vegetables. Things like that are going to help that blood sugar slow down and not spike up as quickly. So increase your fiber, but not through grains. You want to increase your fats. We see this all the time. It's going to prevent people from spiking up, but good fats. So you want to do avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, butter, lard, a lot of good fats that are going to be helpful. Yep, Paula, avocado, great. So increase those good fats, and then you want to add in good quality protein. So not just any protein, not just some hot dogs or some crappy meat that you're getting really cheap. You want to get good quality meats. If you can get grass-fed, that's great. If you can get wild game, that's great. If you know the farmers, ranchers personally, that's great as well. Good quality eggs. A lot of these things are going to be really good at keeping that blood sugar from spiking up. So increase your fiber, fats, and protein. And then number 4, you want to exercise. Remember, we always talk about 2 different things. There's movement and there's exercise. Great study when we're talking about blood sugar was done a few years ago, and they compared 2 groups. One group was exercising, the other group was doing movement. The movement group was doing 3 times a week, and they were going for a walk, spending an hour just moving, taking the dog, whatever they were doing. The other group was doing 7-minute bicycle sprint 1 time per week, and they tracked their blood sugar. Yep, Misty, reuse your bacon grease. I just cooked some sausage for my kids this morning, cooked my eggs in there, and that was some of my fat in there. It was good to see you yesterday, Misty. We're going to get this dialed in. So the exercise piece, 7 minutes, 1 time per week, get on the stationary bike and sprint as fast as they could. They tracked their blood sugar over the course of the study. The group that did the 1 7-minute bicycle sprint once per week versus the one that did the 3 movement, the 3 cardiovascular per week, that had better blood sugar stabilization than the movement group. So doing a sprint once a week is better for your blood sugar. I like it even more than once a week. So even 2-3 times a week, doing something where you get on the stationary bike, the elliptical, getting on a bicycle outside, doing some things where you really can push it and you feel that blood just kind of really settling in the muscles. That's how you know you got to that point where the muscles are contracting enough to help pull that glucose down and stabilize that blood sugar better. So movement is important. Move every day. Walk and hike and bike and swim and do those things, but you've got to do a more intense exercise. And hey, Renee, hope you're having a great vacation down there in New Mexico. Good to see you. Pop up this way if you get a chance. So we've got to get a lot of these things going. We've got to balance our blood sugar. Yep, Brian, running sprints are good too, as long as you feel comfortable doing that. Balance your blood sugar. You've got to get a glucometer. Remove the sugar, the grains, the alcohol. You want to increase your fiber, fat, and protein. Power walking is good, but that's not going to be quite enough on the exercise side. You want to do some air squats, some jumps, some box step ups, some things like that are even going to be better. Yep. So, and Suzette, even with the fatigue, looking to get back into it, you could start with 2 sprints. Start with running up your stairs 3 times and holding onto the railing, and even some basic things like that. It doesn't have to be an hour-long thing. You want to then exercise and not just do that movement. So you guys, you got this. Balance your blood sugar, get the bad things out, add the good things in. And if you're pre-diabetic, diabetic, if there's anybody that you know that is dealing with those, tag them in this video, share this with them. If you haven't liked or followed our page already, do it. Tons of information to get out to you. We can reverse diabetes in as little as 6 to 8 weeks. You've got this. Keep up the good work. Keep your body strong, and we'll talk soon, guys. Bye-bye.